We wear the mask. We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile. With torn and bleeding hearts we smile and mouth with myriad subtleties. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. We smile, but, O great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. We sing, but, oh, the clay is vile beneath our feet, and long the mile. But let the world dream otherwise. We wear the mask.
I started this project early November of last year. I was thinking about taking a kind of Wolf approach, the composer Hugo Wolf, who would just kind of inundate himself in one poet's poetry and then set that poetry. I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I would just do a recital of one poet's poetry, all different settings? So then, of course, I started looking into bigger names in the history of music in terms of poetry. And then it occurred to me that I knew Herbert Martin. It occurred to me that in my hands, actually, at the time, I was looking at this Betty Jackson King setting of the 3 Dunbar poems, and I thought, I bet there's more. And so once I started delving into it a bit more, I discovered the settings by Carrie Jacobs Bond. I discovered the settings and the friendship between he and Samuel Coleridge Taylor, and it just really took off from there. And I gave Herb a call and let him know my idea of combining what he does so amazingly well, the spoken word, with the art song settings. And it just took off from there.
Minnita Daniel-Cox talking about a project she began last year, combining Dayton's Paul Laurence Dunbar's poetry with musical settings of Dunbar's poetry over the past century. I'm Sean Yu with Classical 88.1's Arts Focus. Do you suppose this would have happened had you been outside of Dayton?
I don't think so. I think that's part of what made me so excited. I didn't put it all together right away. I'm not from Dayton. I'm not a native of the Dayton area. But once I thought, I love these Dunbar poem settings. He's a Dayton native. Look at all these other settings. Why not? This is a fantastic place for it. I mean, his home is still standing here. He's buried less than a mile away from my office, for Pete's sake. Let's try this thing.
You call this program, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Now, today, if anybody hears that phrase immediately, they think Maya Angelou. But of course, this was actually from a Paul Laurence Dunbar poem,
mistaken.
Sympathy.
Yeah, and they attribute it to her because she entitled a book that quote, but she borrowed it from a poet who was her inspiration. Yeah. And it's Paul Laurence Dunbar. I wanted people to know he wrote it. I thought it was fantastic because there's singing happening both in the poetry and in the musical settings, and so I thought it was a perfect title for this recital.
Is there an inherently musical quality to the poetry of Paul Laurence Dunbar?
I think there is, and one has to look at, say, the phrases and then decide, how you might sing this phrase or how you might say this phrase. And both of them apply themselves to music, and it's imperative that you find that right nuance, that right cadence in order to say the thing and to communicate it to the audience or to listeners. I think what moves me most is his remarkable ear. He was able, like composers, to hear those nuances in spoken speech, and then he was able to put that down on the page so accurately, better than anyone had done previous to Dunbar. And I think that contributed a great deal to his fame as well, certainly to his lasting fame.
Is there a particularly poignant moment for you as you're singing?
I love Dawn. I love the text. An angel robed in spotless white bends down to kiss the sleeping night. Night woke to blush, the sprite was gone. Men saw the blush and called it dawn. It's fantastic. And the way Betty Jackson King sets it, there are these incredibly rich chords, barely tonal. There's just such wonder and supernatural energy to it. It's fantastic. She sets them so well, they really are inseparable in terms of the music and the text. But I will say, the text inspires the music, which is why this entire recital is in honor of the words of Paul Laurence Dunbar. These composers were inspired by his words.
A celebration of Paul Laurence Dunbar through song and spoken word, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, featuring soprano Minnita Daniel-Cox, poet Herbert Martin, and piano.
Discovered. Now, I seen you down at church last night. Oh, never mind, Miss Lucy. What I mean, oh, that's all right. Never mind, Miss Lucy. You was smart as smart could be, but you couldn't hide from me. Ain't I got two eyes to see? Never mind, Miss Lucy. Say now, honey, what he say? Oh, never mind, Miss Lucy. Keep your secrets at your way. Never mind, Miss Lucy. Won't tell me and I'm your pal. I'm gonna tell his other gal, 'cause I know her too, and her name is Sal. Never mind, Miss Lucy.
What's the matter with the movies? This is